Hi guys, today we're continuing reading Winnie-the-Pooh chapter 6 by Alan Milne, and the title chapter 6, in which Ayer has a birthday and gets 2 presents. It's going to be interesting. Ayer, the old grey donkey, stood by the side of the stream and looked at himself in the water. Pathetic, he said. That's what it is, pathetic. He turned and walked slowly down the stream for 20 yards and splashed it across and walked slowly back on the other side. And then he looked at himself in the water again. As I thought, he said, no better from this side. But nobody minds, nobody cares. Pathetic, that's what it is. There was a cracking noise in the bracken behind him, and out came Pooh. Good morning, Ayer, said Pooh. Good morning, Pooh Bear, said Ayer, gloomy. If it is a good morning, he said, which I doubt, he said. Why, what's the matter? This is Ayer standing in the stream, looking at the water. Nothing, Pooh Bear, nothing. We can't all, and some of us don't. That's all there is to do. Can't all what? Said Pooh, rubbing his nose. Gate, song and dance, here we go round Mulberry Bush. Oh, said Pooh. He thought for a long time and then asked, what mulberry bush is that? Bonhomie, went on Ayer gloomy. French word meaning bonhomie. He explained, I'm not complaining, but there it is. Pooh sat down on a large stone and tried to think this out. It sounded like him to a riddle, and he was never much good at riddles, being a bear of a little brain. So he sung Cottle's on Pie instead. Cottle's on pie, a bird can't fly, but a bird can fly. Ask me a riddle and I reply, Cottlestone pie. That was the first verse. When he had finished it, Ayer didn't actually say that he didn't like it, so Pooh very kindly sang the second verse to him. Cottlestone pie, a fish can't whistle, neither can I. Ask me a riddle and I reply, Cottlestone pie. Ayer still said nothing at all, so Pooh hummed to himself the third part. Cottlestone pie, why does a chicken, I don't know why, ask me a riddle and I reply, Cottlestone pie. That's right, said Ayer. Sing, Dumpty-Dumpty-Daddy-Dee-Doom. Here we go, gathering nuts in May. Enjoy yourself. I am, said Pooh. Some can. So this is Pooh humming to himself, and this is Ayer and Pooh talking to each other. Why, what's the matter? Is anything the matter? You seem so sad, Ayer. Sad? Why should I be sad? It's my birthday, the happiest day of your life. Your birthday? Said Pooh in a great surprise. Of course it is. Can't you see? Look at all the presents I have. He waved a foot from side to side. Look at the birthday cake, candles and pink sugar. Pooh looked at first to the right and then to the left. Presents, said Pooh. Birthday cake, said Pooh. Where? Can't you see them? No, neither can I, said Pooh. Joke, he explained. Ha ha. Pooh scratched his head, being a little puzzled by all this. But is it really your birthday? It is. Oh, well, many happy returns of the day, Ayer, and many happy returns to you, Pooh. But it isn't my birthday. No, it's mine. But you said many happy returns. Well, why not? You don't always want to be miserable on my birthday, do you? Oh, I see, said Pooh. It's bad enough, said Pooh, almost breaking down. Being miserable myself, what with no presents, no cake, and no candle, and no proper notice taken of me at all. But if everybody else is going to be miserable too, this was too much for Pooh. Stay there, he called to her as he turned and hurried back home as quick as he could, for he felt that he must get poor Air a present of some sort at once, and he could always think of a proper one afterwards. Outside his house he found Piglet jumping up and down trying to reach the knocker. "Hello, Piglet," he said. So this is Piglet trying to reach the knocker, and this is Pooh standing there looking at him. "Hello, Pooh," said Piglet. "What are you trying to do?" "I was trying to reach the knocker," said Piglet. "I just came round." "Let me do it for you," said Pooh kindly. So he reached up and knocked at the door. "I just have seen Air," he began, and poor Air is a very sad condition because it's his birthday and nobody has taken any notice of it. And he is very gloomy. You know what Air is. And there he was and answering this door. And he knocked again. "But Pooh," said Pig, "it's your own house." "Oh, so it is. Well, let's go in." So in they went. The first thing Pooh did was to go up in the cupboard and see a quite small jar of honey left. And he had, so he took it down. "I'm giving this to Air," he explained. "As a present. What are you going to give?" "Couldn't I give it too? From both of us?" "No," said Pooh. "That would be not a good plan." "All right then. I'll give him a balloon. I've got one left from my party. I'll go and get it now. Shall I?" That, Piglet, is a very good idea. It just now what Air wants to cheer him up. Nobody can be uncheered with a balloon. So off Piglet trotted, and in the other direction went Pooh with his jar of honey. It was a warm day, and he had a long way to go. He hadn't gone more than halfway when a sort of funny feeling began to creep him all over. It began at the tip of his nose and trickled all through down him and out of the soles of his feet. He was just as somebody inside him were saying, "Now then, Pooh, time for a little something dear, dear." I didn't know it was as. Okay, so, and this is Pooh with the jar inside his house, and this is him where he was creeping all over his body. Late as that. So he sat down and took the top of his jar of honey. "Lucky I brought this with me," he thought. Many a bear out on a warm day like this would never have thought of bringing a little of something with him, and he began to eat. "Now let me see," he thought as he took the last lick of inside the jar. Where was I going? Yes, to Air. He got up and suddenly, and then he remembered he had eaten Air's birthday present. "Bother," said Pooh. "What shall I do? I must give him something." For a little while he couldn't think of anything. Then he thought, "Well, it's a very nice pot, even if there's no honey in it. And if I washed it clean, it would be good." And got somebody to write a happy birthday on it. Air could keep these things in it which might be useful. So that was he was passing 100 Ack Wood. He went inside to call an owl who lived there. "Good morning, Owl," he said. "Good morning, Pooh," said Owl. "Many happy returns of Air's birthday," he said. "Oh, is that what it is? What are you giving to him, Owl?" "What are you giving to him, Pooh?" "I'm giving him a useful pot to keep things in, and I wanted to ask you." "Is this it?" said Owl, taking it out of Pooh's paw. "Yes, and I wanted to ask you, somebody has keeping honey in it," said Owl. "You can keep anything in it," said Pooh earnestly. "It is very useful like that, and I wanted to ask you, you ought to write a happy birthday on it." "That was what I wanted to ask you," said Pooh, "because my spelling is wobbly. It is good spelling, but it wobbles, and the letters get in the wrong places. Would you write a happy birthday on it for me?" "It's a nice pot," said Owl, looking at it all around. "Couldn't I give it too, from both of us?" "No," said Pooh. "That would be not a good plan. Now I'll just wash it first, and then you can write on it." Well, he washed the pot out and dried while Owl licked the end of his pencil and wondered how to spell birthday. "Can you read?" said Pooh, a little anxiously. "There's a notice about knocking and ringing outside my door," which Christopher Robin wrote. "Can you read it?" "Christopher Robin told me what it said, and then I could." "Well, I'll tell you what this says, and then you'll be able to." So Owl wrote, and this is what he wrote: "Hippy peppy birthday, the day birthday." So this is Owl licking the end of his pencil, and this is how he spelled. I'm a little surprised that he spells like this. Pooh looked on armadillo. "I'm just saying happy birthday," said Owl carelessly. "It's a nice long one," said Pooh, very much impressed by it. "Well, actually, of course, I'm saying a very happy birthday with love from Pooh. Naturally, it takes a good deal of pencil saying a long thing like that." "Oh, I see," said Pooh. While this was happening, Piglet had gone back to his own house to get Air's balloon. He held it very tightly against him so that it wouldn't blow away. And then he ran as fast as he could to get Air before Pooh did. For he did thought that he would like to be the first one to give the present, just as if he had thought of it without being told anybody. And running along and thinking how pleased Air would be, but he didn't look where he was going, and suddenly he put his foot in a rabbit hole and fell down flat on his face. Bang! And this is Piglet running with the balloon holding tightly, and this is when he bangs. I think Piglet hurt himself very badly. Piglet lay there, wondering what happened. At first he thought that the whole world had blown up, and then he thought perhaps only the part of the first of it had, and then he thought that perhaps only he had, and he was now alone in the moon or somewhere, and never see Christopher Robin or Pooh or Air again. And then he thought, well, even if I'm in the moon, I needn't be face downwards all the time. So he caught cautiously up and looked. He was still in the forest. Well, that's funny, he thought. I wonder what that bang was. I didn't make such a noise just falling down. And where's my balloon? And what's that small piece of rag doing? It was the balloon! "Oh dear," said Piglet. "Oh dear, oh dearie. Dearie, dear. Well, it's too late now. I can't go back, and I haven't another balloon. And perhaps Air doesn't like balloons so very much." So he trotted on rather sadly now, and down he came to the side of the stream where Air was and called out to him. "Good morning, Air," shouted Piglet. "Good morning, little Piglet," said Air. "If it is a good morning," he said, which I dubbed, "not that it matters. Many happy returns of day," said Piglet, having now got closer. Air stopped looking at himself in the stream and turned to stare at Piglet. "Just say that again. Many happy—" "Wait a moment," balancing on three legs. He had began to bring his fourth leg very consciously up to his ear. I did this yesterday, he explained as he fell down on the third time. It's quite easy. It's so as I can hear better there. That's done it. Now then, what were you saying? He pushed the ear forward with his hoof. Many happy returns of day, said Piglet again. Meaning me? Of course, Ayer. My birthday? Yes. Me having a real birthday? Yes, Ayer. I've bought you a present. Ayer took down his right hoof from his ear and turned around with a grateful and put up his hoof. I must have thought in the other ear, he said. Now then, a present, said Piglet very loudly. Meaning me again? Yes, my birthday still. Of course, Ayer. Me going to have a real birthday? Yes, Ayer. I bought you a present. A balloon? You did say a balloon, one of those big things, colored things you blow. Gaily, song and dance. Here we are. There we are. Yes, but I'm afraid I'm very sorry, Ayer. But when I was running along to bring it, I fell down. Dear, how unlucky. You ran too fast, I expect. Didn't hurt yourself later? No, but oh, Ayer, I burst the balloon. There was a very long silence. My balloon? Said Ayer at last. Piglet nodded. My birthday balloon? Yes, Ayer, said Goose. Yes, Ayer, said Piglet, sniffing a little. Here it is, with many happy returns day. And he gave Ayer the small piece of damp rag. Is this it? Said Ayer, a little surprised. Piglet nodded. My present? Piglet nodded again. The balloon? Yes. Thank you, Piglet, said Ayer. You don't mind me asking, he went on. But what color was this balloon when it was a balloon? Red. I just wondered. Red, he murmured to himself. My favorite color. How big was it? About as big as me? I just wondered. About as big as Piglet, he said to himself sadly. My favorite size. Well, Piglet felt very miserable and didn't know what to say. He was still opening his mouth to begin something and decided that it wasn't any good saying that when he heard a shout from the other side of the river. And there was Pooh. Many happy returns day, called out Pooh, forgetting that he had said it already. Thank you, Pooh. I'm having them, said Ayer gloomily. I brought you a little present, said Pooh excitedly. I've had it. Pooh and now splashed across the stream to Ayer, and Piglet was sitting a little way off, his paws snuffling to himself. It's a very useful pot, said Pooh. Here it is, and it's got a very happy birthday with love from Pooh written on it. That's what all that writing is, and it's putting things in there. When Ayer saw the pot, he became quite excited. Why, he said, I believe my balloon would just go into the pot. Oh, no, Ayer, said Pooh. Balloons are much too big to go into pots. What do you do with the balloon is you hold the balloon. Not mine, said Ayer proudly. Look, Piglet. And Piglet looked sorrowfully round. Ayer picked the balloon up with his teeth and placed it carefully in the pot and picked it out and put it in the ground. And then he picked it up again and put it carefully back. So it does, said Pooh. It goes in. So it does, and comes out. Doesn't it, said Ayer. It goes in and out like anything. I'm very glad, said Pooh happily, that I thought of giving you a very useful pot to put things in. I'm very glad, said Piglet happily, that I thought of giving you something to put useful in pot. But Ayer wasn't listening. He was taking the balloon out and putting it back in again, as happy as he could be. And I didn't give him anything? Asked Christopher Robin sadly. Of course you did, I said. You gave him a little. Don't you remember? A little. I gave him a box of paints to paint things. That was it. Why didn't I give him in the morning? You were so busy getting his party ready for him. He had cake with icing on top and 3 candles and his name in pig sugar. And yes, I remember, said Christopher. So tomorrow we are going to read chapter 7, in which Kanga and Baby Ruth Forest and Piglet has a bath. Thank you for joining me on chapter 6 today. So see you soon. Bye.